Hello everybody, and welcome back to Steven's Fight Show. Alright, so part 2 of my little 3 video series that I got going on.
Even though they probably are going to get uploaded all in one day, or probably just a few hours before the fight.
But anyways, UFC 280, a very stacked card. We got a lot of good fights on the main card, and one of the fights that we need to talk about is Aljamain Sterling versus Tj Dillashaw. It's a good fight for both fighters. It gives both guys an opportunity to really prove who they are in the division. Even though Aljo's the champ and TJ is trying to build his comeback, I think this is a good fight for both men to advance further. And let's start with Aljamain Sterling. Aljo is a fantastic fighter. Regardless of what you think of him, the guy is a great MMA fighter. I mean, his wrestling is top notch. And I believe, I might be wrong about this, I always forget, but I think he was a D1 NCAA wrestler. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me on that. But Aljo, he also uses his style of striking to set up his grappling very well as well. Aljo isn't just a one-dimensional fighter. He knows how to use what he's good at to set up his base, which is his wrestling. He also has this great ability to be able to time takedowns as well. The guy is also in great physical shape as well. I mean, his output is insane. His work rate is always massive. I mean, we saw it against Pedro Munoz and even against Petr Yan. He does a good job of using his kicks to maintain distance and set up attacks. And if you combine his footwork and his ability to move with that as well, it makes Aljo a tough fighter to beat. And something that is underrated about Aljo that I don't think a lot of people talk about is his fight IQ. I don't think people talk about Aljo's understanding of the sport at all. The way he fights and makes adjustments during his fights are superb. And even when he's talking about other fights as well, whenever he's breaking them down, you can tell that he understands MMA very well. And prior to his rivalry against Petr Yan, Aljo was probably the most dangerous guy in the division. I mean, the way he finished Corey Sandhagen, who's also a dangerous person in this division, was just amazing. He had a good performance against Pedro Munoz, Jimmy Rivera as well. I mean, the list goes on. And unfortunately for him, the way he won the bantamweight belt was just disappointing. But he did rectify it in his rematch against Petr Yan. And his opponent, Tj Dillashaw, is a great fighter. I mean, we already know this. Tj Dillashaw has been a great fighter for so long now. I forgot his ranking in the pound for pound list when he was in his prime. But at one point, Tj Dillashaw was the man in this division. And Tj Dillashaw, although I consider him an all-around fighter, he used to be one of the best strikers in the UFC prior to his suspension. And he's going up against the guy that is currently the champion and has been active. But it is also disappointing for TJ because he wasted 2 years out of his prime when he could have been active during that time after being caught cheating, which is poor, but the dude has owned up to it, so let's just move past it. And he's also getting older as well, so who knows if he's going to be as good as he once was. He had a solid performance against Corey Sandhagen, but it wasn't easy by any means. And I want to talk a little bit about TJ in his prime because the man was an absolute problem for everybody. Like literally my mans was finishing people and making them look silly. His 2 fights against Cody Garbrandt where he knocked him out twice was amazing. He beat guys like Renan Barão, Joe Soto, and John Lineker. These are all good wins, and what he displayed in these fights was spectacular. His only losses are close fights against other great fighters like Dominick Cruz and Henry Cejudo. Dominick Cruz, who's a great champion in the sport, has beaten so many other great fighters in the sport. And Henry Cejudo is a 2-weight world champion. So there's no shame in losing against guys like that because they're greats as well. And to summarize it all, I don't have much to say because I just want to see who's able to prove themselves in this division. You know, like I said again, Aljo pretty much became the most hated fighter in the UFC after winning the bantamweight belt.
Or quote-unquote winning the bantamweight belt.
I mean, there was a big period of time where the dude couldn't even talk on social media without seeing a clown emoji or somebody saying Yan by whatever he wants. And although he beat Petr Yan in the rematch, people are still doubting Aljo. Even though it wasn't a pretty win, he still got it done. And I think Aljo is a lot better than what he showed in that second fight against Petr Yan. And on the other side, people are wondering if Tj Dillashaw can become the best bantamweight in the world again. So my official prediction for this fight, I think Aljo will win by decision. I think the way he uses his striking to set up his takedowns and his ability to control a guy on the ground is phenomenal. I mean, the way he was controlling Petr Yan in the second fight was absolutely amazing. He was literally bear hugging Petr Yan from the back, and he was holding him there for a total of 6 minutes. That is insane. I mean, credit to Petr Yan for defending the choke, but the way Aljo was timing his takedowns, throwing feints, throwing shots to try to set up a takedown, and when he got him down, it was over. And I think when he gets a hold of TJ, even though TJ has good wrestling takedown defense, I think ALJO will continue to stick with that intensity of wrestling because the guy has great cardio. Again, going back to his last fight against Petr Yan, ALJO was not getting discouraged that his takedowns were getting stuffed, but instead he kept that pace, he kept that intensity to keep Petr Yan off of him. And TJ, he's going to have rounds where he's going to be able to catch ALJO with a few punches, a few kicks, and at certain points during the fight, I think he's going to be able to push ALJO back with his front foot pressure. But I don't think he'll be able to match ALJO's work rate, or he'll be able to shut off his pace completely. I think TJ is going to have to hurt ALJO with a big strike, because ALJO, he's durable, and I think ALJO, he's going to use his movement to keep distance and avoid shots. There's a chance that TJ can overthrow and walk into a single leg, which has happened to Petr Yan when he fought against ALJO. I think TJ has to be a bit more cautious in this fight and understand that he has 5 rounds to work instead of rushing anything or being lazy in his game plan. And I don't think ALJO will finish TJ because he doesn't really have the punching power to do so, and if he does get TJ to the ground, TJ will probably be more exhausted than hurt in my opinion. I think there's going to be moments where TJ is going to scramble back on his feet, but again, I think ALJO will continue to keep that intensity. And that is it, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to what I have to say, and let me know, will ALJO continue to prove that he is the best bantamweight in the world? Or will Tj Dillashaw reclaim gold at the bantamweight division? Drop a comment and let me know in the comment section down below. Now, if you guys enjoy content that relates to combat sports, please drop a like on this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel down below. That would be greatly appreciated. And other than that, it's been Steven, signing out. Peace.